Hi everyone, it's Polar's Lights and Signals here. Well, we are going to be in a new environment here. This is my storage area at my apartment complex. As you can see, there is not just my stuff back in the back corner, but there's other people's stuff here too. And then there's the laundry machines, you know, and then our cleaning table. So yeah. We are in a new spot because I have done something new, and for you guys, and I know you guys will really appreciate this, I have a streetlight arm mounted right onto the wall, and it just plugs right over there into the panel. So cool. Although that's not the streetlight plugged in right there, that's something else. But yeah, I have a nice new arm now, and from now on, I'm going to try to do videos on this. So yeah. Anyway, today I do want to do a little bit of a special video. It might not be too crazily special, but I am sure everyone has recently heard that the American Electric 115 has been discontinued now, unfortunately. And I'm sure you guys also know that the 125 was discontinued, I think a couple months before then. I did a big three-parter on that streetlight because I have a few different variants. But a little bit down the road, up until I think the beginning of October it was, the 115 was finally discontinued. So unfortunately, you can buy it no more, and American Electric, I think, is going to be discontinuing some of their HID stuff as well. So that now leaves Cooper Lighting to be the only manufacturer in America to make HID lights. So yeah. Now, I'm not going to do a crazy three-parter, obviously, because if you guys remember, some of my longtime viewers already did a video on a 115, and that was my 175 pulse start. Shortly after that, though, right around when fall started to come around, I was on another LED change-out job. Another area of Detroit had some streetlights change out for LED, of course, as sad as that seems. But while I was on that job, we came across this thing. Detroit does have a few 115s around. Now, I've only ever seen them in 175 Mercury, but this one right here is a 250 Mercury, and there was no way I was going to let this thing get thrown away. So, of course, I made sure my foreman kept it aside for me, which usually he does. He's pretty cool about that, and I brought it home. So, yeah. And it's kind of just been sitting around in my storage unit for a really, really, really long time, and it hasn't done anything up until now. And the reason why I haven't done much with it is really just because it didn't really need too much work. Obviously, it needs to be repainted and restored, but for now, it's okay. But yeah, if anyone doesn't know the history on the 115, the 115 came out in 2003, and it replaced the 113. And the design changes weren't really too significant, to be honest. All they did was add a little bit of an extra lap, kind of like an extended lap under the door there. Ooh, the camera's being a little funky. And the top and really the overall rest of the shape of the fixture stayed exactly the same. All it is just a nice little rounded, kind of like streamlined finish. But one thing I actually do like about this little detail here is that it actually kind of looks similar to the 13000's little lap design, because they kind of had that little detail like that. The 113 was more defined and it was rounded in, but this one kind of comes out, stays straight, and kind of resembles the 113 a little bit more. So it is pretty nice in shape. It has a very nice profile from the front, obviously to the side. And down below, you can see it does look fairly nice. A lot of people don't like this change. Some people do. I personally don't mind it. I think the reason why, though, they did this, obviously, so that they could accommodate bigger ballasts, because this was definitely a time when cramming high wattage, high pressure sodium ballasts and small Cobras was really the next big thing for the HID lighting. So, yeah. And I'm kind of glad LED came around when it did, because these fixtures kind of started to get really, really, really bad. So yeah, they didn't have to suffer through the cheap times. But as you can see, The paint has some scratches and some chipping, especially on the front here. There's lots of paint chip, and it's still just kind of chipping away. Right around the mid-90s, when American Electric was bought up by Thomas & Betts, they quit anodizing their fixtures, but they did powder coat them for a little while. I think 2 or 3 years or so. And after that, though, they switched the paint and used a cooked-on paint, which unfortunately has a huge flaw. And that is when you get little scratches like this or that, or even something as small really as this, you know, water can get trapped in between those and cause the paint to bubble out. And that is because the metal starts to corrode. So you got water trapped, corroding the metal and then making it bubble up, which pulls the paint right off. And I have seen actually some of these where they're brand new and haven't even had corrosion, and then the paint just doesn't stick. So the paint really is just kind of floating on here. But someday when I go to restore this, this will be sandblasted and painted all over with fresh, higher quality paint. But yeah, anyway, let's go up here to the photocell. This is just a shorting cap I have in here right now. I have a 2004 Fisher-Pierce photocell I'd like to get installed in here. But you can see the photocell up here is pretty cool. It's kind of made of a really cheap plastic. Of course, we're coming into you know, the later years of Thomas & Betts, and I believe this is right around when Acuity brands was starting to come in. But this photocell, all you got to do to adjust it is undo the screw, and then you can twist and turn it to wherever you want. Of course, you want to have your north position facing north. And then when you're done, you just screw it back down, and it's nice and tight. So yeah. Anyway, I'm going to put that back on. And we're not going to look at this because this thing is kind of boring. But moving on up here, you can see some little dim bits here. And that's just where your screws kind of come up into the top housing to mount stuff. And you got a little T-spot here. This is for a level to ensure your fixture is level. But most of the time, I've actually seen these installed kind of like that. So not really, really necessary, I guess, really to have that. But yeah. But anyway, let me go ahead now and open this streetlight up and we can look at the insides. Alright, so to open up your streetlight here, all you gotta do is pull on this little latch like this. Pops right off. Bring it back. And of course when you get to the back, just lift up slowly and carefully and your door is off. Alright, so here's our door. You can kind of see the chipping paint here and there, like spots like that. Ooh, yeah, you see the low quality paint. I will say though, even though the paint on the fixture and doors low quality, I think the finish is actually pretty nice on these. You can see it's not too bad, and there's some nice details here and there, and you can see these two spots right here. Those are actually so you can mount a level to this fixture. I have seen some levels on these before, but it's not very common that you see them. And you can see the really nice 250 watt Mercury sticker. It's still in really good shape, sort of, but I'm going to replace it. And then the glassware here, I'll go ahead and get the glass out real quick. All you got to do is twist this. It's very simple. And then your glass just lifts up and out like so. So I'll go ahead and set that aside for just a moment. And then I can show you, of course, the latch on the door. Just got a little springy mechanism here. Pulls it right back. Now, sometimes people don't shut these correctly and they can fly open, but that doesn't really happen too often with those. But I'll set that aside and we can look at the glass. Now, if you guys have noticed, the glass is not the standard glass you'd see usually in these newer American Electric fixtures. And the reason why is because that glass sucks. So if you're wondering what the glass looks like, I can put some photos up for you guys. It's basically just the standard Westinghouse prism style glass. And American Electric started using that a lot when they partnered with Thomas & Betts and pretty much continued using it up until the recent discontinuation. However, that glass I really don't like. I like the older style glass that looks more like this. The original American Electric fixtures had their own style of glass that they had Hall of Fame made. And this right here is actually the same exact glass. However, this is not branded as American Electric. This is either a Hubble or Powerlight glass. There's no logoing on it. There's no wording on the rims. It's just blank, but it's really high quality and I really like it. And it looks exactly like the American Electric glass. And you can see it has the really nice refractor detail in the back. On the side here, you got some nice line details. And I always liked American Electric because they had this really clear spot right here, and then they had this little thing right here. And that's kind of how you can identify whether that it's American Electric glass. Like I said, no logoing, it's just blank on the front. But you can see it's really nice. It's a nice, clean, clear, crisp piece of glass. And I think this is the glass that American Electric should have been using. Now, some of the Cooper fixtures from around 2011 and 2012 actually used this glass. And I'm sure some of you guys have seen that. Anytime I get Cooper fixtures, I take that glass out so I can throw it in the American Electric fixtures. Because really, the American Electric fixtures should have this glass. And I know if you guys have watched my last video on my Pulse Start one, I mentioned as well that I really prefer this glass. This is what American Electric should have been using. Even though it's not branded at all, has no logoing, it's still true to the American Electric style that they were going for. And I honestly think it looks good on the American Electric 115s and 113 fixtures. So yeah. Anyway, let's go ahead now and look at the fixture. Alright, so if we look at the back side here, you can see this really long bar piece. And basically what this is to kind of give some structure to these legs. Because to be very honest, since this metal is non-anodized, the aluminum cast here can actually be very weak. So if this were to get pushed outward, it could actually break. So that kind of helps keep it together. So at least they kind of knew what could possibly happen. So I'm glad they have that done on the fixtures. And then you can see right here this really nice stainless steel plate. This is pretty much the clamping mechanism to mount it to the arm. You got 4 nice black bolts to hold it in. And one thing I just learned now that I have an arm to just talk about my streetlights on is that this actually can be flipped around so that you can actually use it for a much bigger arm, like a 2-inch arm. Of course, this is just a small arm, so I have it flipped for the smaller arm option. Anyway, if we move up here, you can see the ballasting components and all the wire here. It's actually pretty bad. This is kind of cramped in here a little bit. It's the ballast is a little fat. As you can see, it's probably a little bit too big for this fixture. And I got the capacitor pushed all the way up by the reflector, which really isn't very good. But you can see right here we got the terminal block. Just a very standard piece of plastic molded. And then they got the, I think these are actually aluminum screws here, because they actually they kind of strip out very easily. But you got your wires that come off your spades here, and of course they come out and do all their mercury vapor stuff. But if you look at this ballast here, you might think it looks very standard. Well, this is the original ballast of this fixture, but it is an advanced ballast. Now, this is an American Electric Lighting advanced ballast. Now, for a lot of people who don't know this, American Electric quit making their own ballasts, but did partnership with advanced lighting to make ballasts. So basically, it's just really advanced ballasts, and then you have the welded tabs here that American Electric likes to have to mount it to their fixtures. So it's a very standard ballast. It's not really too exciting, and you can see, of course, with all advanced ballasts, you got the labeling on the wires to tell you what they are for. It's not the most exciting ballast, but it is all right. I think it does work fairly well in here, so I can't complain too much. Right here is just a sticker to kind of give you a warning about the operation and voltage. And the one thing that did mostly survive in here is the stickering for the wiring diagram, which usually these always fall out, but this one's here. So you can see if you ever have any trouble trying to wire up the fixture, you have this diagram here, and I think, I'm not sure, I can't really tell, but these 3 terminal connections that they're showing down here I think are for different voltages. So yeah, pretty cool. If we go up right here, you can see we got a grounding screw for any grounding things that need to be done. And of course we can go back to the capacitor. I'm not a huge fan of where it's mounted. It's really close here to the reflector. And of course, since this is a 250 watt mercury fixture, this fixture will get really hot. But you can see the capacitor is pretty much strapped down. American Electric's always done this. not really a bad design. It does make it fairly easy to put different size capacitors since you got all those holes to choose from depending on your capacitor size. But yeah, pretty nice. It's just a flexible piece of aluminum, and then the capacitor I think is a Magnatech capacitor. Don't know too much about those, but it does seem to work all right here. And yeah, that's all I really can say. So that's pretty much the inside here, and then we can now go to the reflector area. You can see it's pretty much just standard. It's screwed in with one screw there, and it has a felt gasket on it, which I have had a lot of issues with these on newer fixtures, especially Mercury ones, where the UV light really likes to deteriorate. Where the UV light really likes to break down the material. This one did fall off. I had to go back and re-glue it on with some hot glue, but it did fix the problem. I will say though that these are nice and they clean up really well, especially if you soak them in soap. So yeah, and you can actually throw them in the wash and they in the dryer, and they clean up very well. But they don't stay on very well, I will say that, but it's all right, I guess. The reflector here, of course, has a nice finish. It's newer, so obviously yes. And it's just a standard pressed aluminum reflector, and it's the same exact pressed mold that American Electric has used in all their 13 fixtures. So yeah. Right here you can see a sticker, which I don't really know at this point now which way is the right way to face it. Oh, right there. So this sticker, unfortunately, when I washed this off, the text kind of disappeared. But you can faintly see it. The actual mark it left on the tag is there. I don't know if you can see it, but right at the top here, it actually says it was made in 2004. So this 115 was built in 2004. So pretty nice to know. It's kind of a pre-band Mercury, and definitely a piece of 2000s equipment. Here is the lamp. Let's go ahead and look at this. If I can unscrew it. I do apologize for some of the shakiness. Of course, this is a new style of video I'm trying out, and I'm not going to be the best of it. But yeah, I know this lamp is definitely the best. This is just a Sylvania lamp here. It's a newer one to go with the new appeal of the fixture. Nothing's fancy, and you can see the arc tube in there, nice and clean. This is a newer bulb. It's no longer new old stock, as I've ran it quite a lot now, but it definitely has a lot of hours and many days of life left. So yeah. Anyway, now that we've seen that, I'm gonna go ahead and close this fixture back up, and we can watch it warm up. Alright, so I went ahead and got the fixture closed back up, and it's pretty much all ready to go. I don't have to do any adjusting since it's already on the arm for me. So yeah, let me go ahead and shut the lights off here so that we can get a good little nice nighttime view of it. And since we're downstairs, it's actually really dark in here, so it's actually really nice. Alright, so time to go dark. This is my 2004 American Electric Lighting 115 in 250 watts Mercury Vapor in 1, 2, 3. You can just faintly see the receptacle. Alright. As you can hear, it's fairly quiet, not really very loud at all, but it is new, so it has a lot of time left before the ballast can start to wear out. And that bulb is nice and pink, as it's brand new, and has lots of mercury vapor to burn. So let's go ahead now and watch it warm up. Alright everyone, we are at full brightness now. As as this lamp is new and this fixture is new, I will say the bulb in here is very nice and bright. If I go ahead and pick up the camera here, you can see it really does a good job at lighting up my storage area. Well, excuse me, this is not my storage area. I'm probably going to have a habit of saying that now that I just said that, but anyhow, yeah, you can see it's really bright. You can see all my lovely 250 fixtures, and by the way, yes, these are all 250 watt Mercury fixtures. Please don't ask me to do any reviews on any of these at the moment, as I'm trying to figure out what I'm going to do next anyway. But yeah, you can see the glassware here. I really like this glassware on here. Again, it looks super nice. And you can see through it that really nice Mercury lamp in there. It's crystal clear. Really beautiful. There are some nice glass details on here, especially ones like this. Really nice. And if I do that, you can see, looks really nice. You can see the top part of it as well. And of course, a NEMA sticker down there as well. Very cool. It's actually kind of fun doing this because you can get all these really nice pan shots of it. And yeah, really nice. Alright, so that was my 2004 American Electric Lighting 115 in 250 watts Mercury Vapor. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and please like and subscribe if you're new to my channel and you want to see more of this content, and hopefully I will have some more up here soon. Sorry if this review seemed maybe a little short. Of course, I'm not used to this new style of videoing yet, but I'm going to practice more and more as I continue to do reviews. And this fixture is pretty bare bones and pretty small. I will say there are a lot of people who are a fan of this fixture. If I had to rate this fixture from 1 to 10, I probably would give it maybe a 5. And the reason why is because of the metal on here being as crappy as it is, and the paint as well. And of course, with the ballasting in here, these advanced ballasts really aren't the nicest things in the world, so I don't really care too much about that. But yeah, in terms to the look and design, for the most part, I think is really good. And of course, I give it kind of a low rating as well because they use the standard Hall of Fame glass instead of this nicer glass here. So they definitely do that as a cost-cutting measure. But other than that, it's a pretty nice little fixture, and I've not seen too much of these throughout my lifetime in Mercury Vapor. I will say that these are actually really hard to find, I think, in Mercury Vapor. I don't think that these were made for very long. Obviously, it's from 2003 to 2008. That's only like, I think, 6 years. If you think about that, you know, that's when in 2008 when they had the Mercury ban, they had to quit making Mercury versions of these. So it's kind of hard to find these in Mercury Vapor, as these really only replaced older Mercury fixtures. So yeah, if you guys know where any are at, I do recommend trying to save them. Of course, now that these fixtures are discontinued, and preserving these, and of course this one right here will definitely be refurbished and restored and taken very good care of and preserved as well. So yeah, anyway, I hope you guys have a good rest of your night, and stay tuned for more. Bye bye.